to take your breath away, and you feel yourself suffocating. Does the pain weigh out the pride?
Good morning. Thank you all so much for joining us today. My name is Cheryl Anderson. I am a mother, a grandmother, and the state chapter leader for Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense America here in Florida. Today we have with us a number of wonderful speakers. I'm going to tell you who they are, and then they're going to come up one by one and introduce themselves and give us their good words. We have with us today St. Petersburg Mayor Rick Kreisman, Gulfport Mayor Sam Henderson, Lisa Wheeler Brown, who lost her son to gun violence, Interim St. Petersburg Police Chief David DeKay, Dr. Manuel Sykes, President of St. Petersburg NAACP and pastor of Bethel Community Baptist Church, and C.L. Townsend, who's a responsible gun owner and NRA member. And we're going to start this morning with Mayor Kreisman.
I also said that we wanted to create a culture where illegal guns and gun violence are not welcome, and that if you illegally possess a gun, you are not welcome here in St. Petersburg. A year ago, our leaders in Washington, D.C. failed the 90% of Americans who support criminal background checks on all gun sales. And that is why we are here today. I am pleased to stand with my friends and colleagues to help launch a new organization that brings together mayors, moms, and a grassroots movement of Americans who will work together to end gun violence. Gun violence is not an isolated problem. It is an American problem, and it affects everyone in every town. And that is why Every Town for Gun Safety was created. Every Town opens the next phase in the fight to end gun violence. It will take the works of mayors like me, moms across the nation, and many other everyday Americans to convince policymakers in Washington to do more to protect our children and our community.
That being because we are all neighbors. Our police forces, St. Petersburg and Gulfport, work hand in hand a lot of times, and those guys go out in some difficult situations. And anything we can do to make their job safer as they make us safer is something that I think is an obligation. Not only am I an elected official, I'm also a dad, and I'm a responsible gun owner. And I think this is good legislation. One of the things that I need from our state legislature is to give back our ability as local government to make our own ordinances governing what can be done with firearms in our city limits and our county limits. I support the expansion of criminal background checks and closing up loopholes like those that go along with gun shows. Anything that we can do to make it more difficult for people to get a hold of the weapons that they have the ability to use with ill intent. I'm a Second Amendment supporter, but at the same time I'll tell you a brief funny story about the Second Amendment and being a gun owner supporting that. My wife said, I think when the Founding Fathers put the Second Amendment in place, they never had any idea what kind of weaponry we'd be able to come up with and how fast that technology would advance. It's clearly not okay for us all to carry around an IBM missile in the back of our pickup truck, so as Americans we understand there are some limits to what we want to do and what we want to make allowable, and I think we just need to make some rules that put in place that support gun sense and support gun sense voting and gun sense legislation. So thanks again for letting me be here. Thanks for all the voters in support of gun sense legislation that came out today. And please, by all means, sign your voter commitment cards that you will support.
Lost a child at the age of 21 to someone who thought they had the right to take his life, to someone who was in possession of an illegal weapon. I have joined Mayors Against Illegal Guns and Moms on Demand because this is a very important issue to me. If I can prevent another mother from losing a child, that is what I would do. I have signed my pledge card to support any elected official who votes or who will require that we have common sense gun laws. What are you waiting on? Sign yours also. Thank you.
I've had children in my church that were killed by guns, and as a part of the NAACP,
we've protested and rallied against irresponsible actions that ended lives due to gun violence. And so I'm here today to say that no, it's not a constitutional issue, but it is a public safety and moral issue. It's an issue that millions of people like myself and these that are standing here believe has to be addressed on a legislative level. We believe in supporting politicians who support the right of every citizen to live in peace. As a gun owner, it's a very important right that we have to use or to have and own guns, but it is terribly irresponsible when for any other reason than public safety and personal safety that people own guns. And then thirdly, when you have a culture of gun violence that is so prevalent in my own community, it is especially important to have those persons that we elect to office to fight against that ownership and the proliferation of gun violence. And so I'm here and I'm asking everyone here to sign the card and to let all potential candidates know that if they're not on the side of gun sense and responsibility, that they won't get our vote in their next elections. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me today. My name's C.L. Townsend. I'm a gun owner for over 60 years. I come from a hunting family of 6 generations of Floridians. So I'm a Florida cracker, and I know the difference between hunting and the hunted. I know the difference between protecting the Second Amendment rights and responsible gun ownership. The difference between the hunting and the mindset of the hunted that is encouraged by the fear-mongering of the NRA. This fear-mongering is a plague on our discussion of the responsible regulations needed to protect our children and ourselves. Newtown broke my wife and my heart, and I know all of you. And I joined the NRA to learn about their positions. Some of them are reasonable, but however, their use of fear versus facts is the destabilizing force in public discussions about gun violence prevention. Recently, as of April 10th, their attack on efforts to enact universal background checks show their true colors. This attack again uses the old gun registration of all firearms tirade to fire up their members and again mislead and distort the discussion. This is simply another attack based on fear designed to support the paranoia of the hunted. It shows their willingness again to ignore the facts and that fear sells guns and facts don't matter to them in this debate.
Now, all mothers know we can't expect change to happen overnight. That's why moms everywhere are working to change laws state by state and city by city until even Washington listens to what Americans are telling them. We want stronger laws that protect our families. Gun sense is the simple idea that we can do much more to keep our families and communities safe from gun violence. Respecting the rights is as important as protecting people, and today, Americans across the country will begin pledging to vote for laws and political leaders that support common sense efforts to end gun violence. Please join us by completing the Gun Sense voter card. Or you can also go to www.gunsensevoter.org and submit your pledge there. By working together, moms, dads, grandparents, and all people interested in gun violence prevention can make our state and our country safer. We will be here for a short time to talk with you and answer questions, but thank you for coming.